Hi, this is Tom, and this is Culture Chat. So today I want to talk to you about a play called Here on the Flight Path, which is a Canadian play, which is great. We don't really see very much of those. Now, it doesn't have to be done in Canada, but it should be because there are so few plays where the characters are based in Canada. So it is a two-hander, or it can be a four-hander, depends on what you think. The story is a newspaper columnist who is rather clever, is in a sort of a melancholy state, and he's moved to an apartment building that has a balcony, and there's a balcony next to his. And he has a succession of female neighbors that keep moving in and out of that apartment. And these are his adventures, his conversations with those various neighbors. So when I say a two-hander, I like it when the play is done with just one woman playing all three women. Just one actress playing all three female characters. The characters each are juicy in their own way. And most time the play is done where there's an intermission to change set pieces and so forth on her balcony to show a new person has moved in, which gives the time for the actress to change wigs, change costumes, that kind of thing. Short intermissions, short intervals. Or you could do three successive women if you want to go that way. I think audiences are fascinated by an actor or actress who plays different parts and slips into those roles so easily. Each vignette is 30 minutes with his neighbor. And the thing about this play is that it is a comedy, but he is rather melancholy. Not all the time. He's not got some sort of weird depression where everything comes out monotone, which is the cleverness of it. He is a newspaper writer. His column is popular. That's not the crux of this play. He is recently divorced. He can't see his children. He's been there about a year. It's called Here on the Flight Path because there are planes going overhead during the play. That's the kind of thing you hear it. This is not a place you stay. There is a movie I like very much because it's based on someone we all knew in San Francisco, Francis, who was a professor at San Francisco State who moved to Italy. And then they made a movie about here called Under the Tuscan Sun. Now, a lot of it's tilted, not quite the Francis we knew. That's okay. But the part that is true is her divorce. And when she moved into a building that was mostly divorced people with short-term lets. That's what this apartment building is meant to be. It's not dilapidated, it's not gross. It's just some place you wouldn't stay, which is why there's three different women. It's not a place you stay, but our leading male is staying. Melancholy. Can't quite take off, as he says, on the flight path. Can't quite get out of there. So he doesn't use the same lines on each woman, which is good. He is funny, and he does amuse them. And the thing about Foster's writing is it's very human. It's not an elevated play with elevated language. It's very Canadian, which is a particular flavor that we need more of out there in the theater world. How do Canadians speak? How do they speak to their neighbors? How do they speak when their neighbors, they're talking about intimate things? Not really intimate things, but enough. The first woman is Faye, and she is a call girl. So right off the bat, we speak sort of intimate deeds. And Faye, I don't think she expects to stay, but she's in that apartment because she is always in fear of the neighbors finding out what she does. I don't think Faye is a call girl in her own flat, but, it is the kind of situation where neighbors can get rid of her if they find out what she does. Now, I'm in favor of Faye as props because each balcony should be props according to that woman and her character. I think it helps the humor if Faye has a drying rack for her clothing and there are kinky, weird things on the drying rack that, Hopefully, no one notices, but he's the neighbor. Might be a little paranoid. What does that mean? Weird bras? I don't know. Strange little costumes? You can do this cheaply in your props department. Little leopard print fringe skirt or something. Little strange things. You're like, what is that? It just brings up the humor. And their conversation doesn't get too graphic. Anyone can see this play. It's fun for the whole family, basically. But it is detailed enough in that very Canadian way. And it is melancholy in a very Canadian way. The second one is Angel. She is a musical theater girl, and she's a little bit old she's not old to be in musical theater. She is not realizing her age, and she is not realizing that she's not a success. Now, I think Faye should have some tap shoes that bring in some comedy in their discussion. I believe she knows she's going to move. She's guilty about being supported by her parents. You know, she's still a little naive after a long time in musical theater. This happens. As we know in theater world, this can happen. What is being realistic? What is not? That's interesting. And the last woman is Gwen, who's moved there from Vancouver. I'm not really sure where in Canada Here on the Flight Path is meant to be. It might make it more interesting if it's in Montreal or Quebec. Then you could have, a French aspect to some of the things, whatever you think. And she's just really emotionally damaged. She's not crazy. She's just got out of divorce, so they bond over that. She's fractured, a little nervous, a little reticent. She's a driving instructor, which I think fries her nerves. Again, that's not that evident in the script, but it can be when you portray her. So let's call it a 3-act because there is an intermission between each woman for a changeover of set. And, the first one, funny haha. The second one, and she gets a little more animated. And the third one is crashing down a little bit, like, this is it. I really think you should do it with the same actress. Wigs, costumes, it can do a lot. Slightly different accents. They all seem to be from a different part of Canada. I'm not sure what those accents might be, but you could play with that. Audiences are very interested in an actor who has different physicality, how they hold themselves. How does the call girl hold herself? She's not trying to appeal to him as a call girl, but maybe she holds herself differently. Maybe the actress is a little more bouncy. Maybe the last one, Gwen, is, a little more, round to shoulders and sloped and just exhausted. And what could that be? And how can we make comedy out of that without feeling sorry for herself? The writing is wonderful. The writing doesn't judge these characters. We know the lead male should move. He doesn't. Why? We know that he's an interesting person. Why can't he leave this apartment building as he should? Because it's just not doing him any good. It's not restful. It's loud, frequently with being under a flight path. Is he trying to find himself by his relationships, however brief, with these women? What does it mean? They all leave the apartment. They don't have big light above their head moments like finding themselves, but they move along. What it does is that it forgives these characters their flaws. Sometimes, like Angel, they don't see their flaws at all. Sometimes they do, and they can't quite deal with them. But through conversation, they reach a little more understanding about themselves. So why can't our lead male leave this apartment? Well, it wouldn't serve us for this play. Hopefully one day he does. It's an interesting piece. It's a very interesting piece. And you're rooting for everyone. And you're forgiving them their foibles. And it's very non-judgmental. It's just very human. If you're fans of things like Ted Lasso, especially the part where he forgives Rebecca, you'll know what I mean. It's just kind. It's human. It's pushing aside all the BS and the knee-jerk reactions and just being human. This could be a very good piece for your theater. The design I've seen online, some theaters haven't put much thought into it. Some really have. Some theaters have sliding glass doors, nice but expensive, and a whole bedroom set inside, or a dining room set inside, and you can see inside their apartments. That's okay. I'm not sure if that's necessary. It depends on you. What I'm against is when they separate the balconies with one flimsy little piece of railing that's knee height. That's not what this play is. Now, I like it when the railings go all around, so there's a railing in front of you, the audience, and you see a railing between them, and it's separated. Okay? So they're a little more separated than just a little thin railing that they could hop over. That doesn't really work for this piece. I know it's more expense and that railings to denote balconies and apartments may not be something you have in stock, but there's all different ways you can make them. So think about this. And what does a railing mean? Doesn't have to be metal, could be stone, could be brick, could be anything. Or you could just make a wood railing that you have already. Maybe don't spend your money crossing it off in front so it's barricaded from the audience, but maybe you could, because that really denotes time and place. All right? The set doesn't have to be Canadian. I'm not saying anything like that. There is no Canadianness about the set. It's in the words, it's in the language, it's in the way they speak to each other. So do some study about that, because we should, especially in other countries, I know that you're watching this in New Zealand and Argentina and in the UK. In the Americas, we have different customs per country. It's a big place. So don't just think, oh, Canadians are just like Americans. They're not, and they will tell you that. I get this from my cousins in Southwest England. I'm like, oh, Canada, they're just like you. I'm like, no, they're not. They're different. Not radically different, but they're different. And then I say to them, oh, you're English. You're just like the Welsh. And they say, oh, no. Proving my point. The Canadians are slightly different. They have different sort of reserves, different sort of politeness. And they really stick to always trying to be kind, which is a way to look at the language in this play and your delivery as very Canadian, and that's interesting. So look at this piece. It could be for you. I think it's a great piece. Laugh riots a minute every second? No. It's a little more on the melancholy side, but it's refreshing and amusing, and the language is so well written. I like this playwright, Norm Foster, and I'm going to review some of his other pieces to see if they might work for you. This could be an inexpensive piece that really gets people to come to your theater because it's different, it's cool, and it's been around for a while, so it's proven itself. All right, that's enough for today. We'll talk soon. Thanks.